So, we have a series of IT demand management challenges. Let's look at a couple of the answers that the process suggests as being there. Not a part of the information flow. One of the key, what's the answer to this? The answer is to become a part of the information flow, but that's easier said than done. If, for example, your part of the organization has been moved out of the organization where you used to be, then obviously the requirement is that you go back to the business and justify your presence in jour fixe type of meetings. Jour fixe and regular meetings are a fundamental necessity for the IT demand management organization. You have to be at regular meeting opportunities so that you can stay in with the regular flow of business from 1 week to the next, from every 2 weeks or 3 weeks to the next, and one line of business discussion or topic to the next. So presence at these fixed meetings is critical. The question is, how do you get that? And the answer to this is a series of discussions which are front-end discussions which explain the demand management role to the business people who are running those meetings and explaining the necessity of being there. That is one of the reasons why the process slides exist. So you'll have a PowerPoint show with 5 slides which you can use as a foundation for this. But actually, I would probably use the flip charts themselves. Just print these onto one sheet of A4, and in justification for saying to your business partners, this is why I need to be there, you show them the 5 photos on the piece of paper, print it in color, and then they'll enjoy the experience a little bit more. And then you show them step number 4, and you basically say, if you need money from me, then this is why I have to be there. This is the reason that you need me to be at your meeting, because at some stage you will ask for big budget from IT. If I'm there, the chances of you getting that money are much higher. If I'm not, the answer will definitely be 3 years or very complex. Yeah? So that's quite a hard statement in answer to this question, how do you become a part of the information flow? Obviously, through a process of step 1 and through the process of understanding individual sponsors' business, it's going to be, a matter of relationship of getting into those meetings. It is possible to do the job without being a part of the jour fixe process, but it's much more difficult. Second one, public relations of RT, or changing perceptions of IT. This is what is the answer to this? I have a very clear and simple answer to this question. Or I have many answers, but we'll begin with the easy one. The total solution landscape is a tool that IT people use to visualize an IT project and a business rationale for the project at the same time. So from a perception point of view, if this can be used more intensively to show business people how you think about IT projects and what the business uses of those IT projects are, then that does a great deal to change perception very quickly. Another great game changer on the perception level is this tool called the early qualifier, where there are some questions for the purpose of qualification. All business people understand the word qualified, because qualified means it has quality, whatever it is. Qualified means it gets 50%, it gets recognition. Managers start picking up the telephone when things get qualified. Yeah. So, what level of change do we expect? What sponsors do we need to engage? What is the opportunity question? Where do we get the budget? What is the compelling reason to take action on a specific topic? We'll come to this as a part of the program. The questions behind the early qualifier are all business-centric questions. And so the way that we change perception, or the way that we build up the image of IT, is to demonstrate quite clearly that we have a business mindset in terms of speaking to the business. Getting a complete picture of a business process and strategy. Time. Yeah, it needs time. It takes time. But it also takes a level of consciousness and drilling. The word drilling, you know, like a drill, like a Bosch drill, like a power drill, you drill into a wall, and you need to drill a hole this deep, yeah, into a concrete wall. It takes quite a bit of time, yeah, it takes quite a bit of pressure. So to get a complete picture of a business process, you probably need to speak to 7, 8, 9 different people in 7, 8, 9 different contexts in different ways, yeah. And most people have this expectation that if you go and ask a business person about a business process, they will be able to give you a great concise summary of the business process, and then you understand. I don't know any business processes that follow this particular pattern, not even a simple process like how do you change the coffee machine. This morning we had a process, how do we get the tripod into the room so that we can film? Yeah, that was quite a complex process as well. Thank you. That's an IT solution that's just come through the door. So, missing demand management structure internally. Yeah. Now, this is a very interesting challenge. Yeah, because even though it's been 2 years since the demand management structure has been put in place, the fact that change takes time still means that some organizations don't have this demand management structure clearly embedded within their organizations. One answer to this is, again, the process of describing the demand management function to the business, but also having sit-down meetings with the IT function and saying, who is covering the role and responsibility of the demand manager. And just to be absolutely crystal clear, the demand management function has a responsibility to understand the IT demand from the business, whatever that business is. So if you're speaking about one manufacturing site in one particular place, then that's it. That's the business. That's the scope of business. Maybe you need 1 or 2 people to do that. Maybe you need a half a person to cover that particular scope. If you're speaking about a headquarter office with 400 or 500 people, then it's a different equation. You'll need a different level of demand management activity to cover all of the different functions that are there. Yeah? And I'm not speaking about people. I'm not interested in people. From a relationship perspective, sure, the people move everything. But from a job role perspective, it's not the people who interest us, it's the functions themselves. Yeah, sales, marketing, HR, manufacturing, medical, agriculture, product experts, brand management, whatever the function is, it needs to be covered by a demand management function as well. So one way of, making sure the demand management structure is at least raised to the surface is to put this topic on the table and make sure this topic is getting covered, especially when you see areas that are not being touched. Okay, how do you change IT mindset? You don't. Is it possible to turn an IT person into a business person? There are very interesting topics, very interesting discussions on this. I think at the end of the day, for some people, no, it is not possible to turn a pure IT person into somebody who can think of the impact of IT solutions on business. Yeah? Is it possible to turn a business person into an IT person? In some situations, no. They do not have the cranial space or capability in order to manage that knowledge within their business-centric mind. Yeah? Sometimes you find a business person who is motivated, interested, and curious about IT. Yeah? You can take this person and create a demand manager out of them. Sometimes you find somebody who has been in IT for years and years and years, but they are motivated, interested, and curious about business in whatever direction it goes. You can take this person and create a demand management function out of them. Yeah. But there's always the question, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Which is the best way or best solution to go? There are various arguments which support various directions. My own opinion is that the ideal world is a function whereby demand managers are allowed and motivated to move in the directions where they find the most highest levels of interest. If that be moving closer towards the business and going eventually into the business, good. If that be moving away from the business and going more into project management and IT skills, then good. If the IT management function is created in order to allow this, that would of course be ideal. And I don't think it's too far away from actually existing in some organizations that we've seen. Reaching a good balance between business dynamic and IT structure and method. So for me, this really is about the requirement for learning on both sides of the field. If you come from IT, the need to learn about the business is extremely high. If you come from the business, the need to learn about IT is also pretty high. However, don't learn everything because as soon as you start learning about SAP and CRM, then you realize you've got a 3-year learning track in front of you before you become an expert. If you need to learn about business process re-engineering or purchasing protocols, then you realize you've got 4 years in front of you before you start understanding even the fundamentals of it. Yeah? As a customer service professional, and that's very important for the IT demand management role, your job is serving the needs of the business, which means your knowledge needs to go to a certain level, but maybe it doesn't need to go much further than that certain level. Yeah? So understanding the handover point into areas of product or process expertise is sometimes more important than actually understanding the topic itself. However, as soon as you're working with somebody in marketing, they will respect your interest in marketing. As soon as you're working with somebody in business intelligence, they will respect your interest and knowledge on that particular topic. There is no denying that good content-related knowledge is a great way of creating good relationships and creating credibility. Yeah. So, speaking to the correct person, yeah, and in this multi-layered organization where it's possible to speak to 5 or 6 people without actually speaking to the person who's got the requirement. We have a sexist way of approaching this topic. This correct person is called the man. That's why it's sexist. This is the person with the money, the authority, and the need. Man. Yeah, we haven't worked out a different way of saying that to make it less sexist. But at any stage of an internal convincing process, you need to find the person who can move something forward. And if you can't find that person, then it doesn't move forward. So this is a very interesting problem that we're faced with. At the moment, within Bayer, within the IT demand management community, there is a perception that doors should open naturally. Yeah? And this perception is wrong. You're in a customer service role. The IT demand management is a customer service role. You are salespeople, and salespeople need to influence and convince and to show value. And in return for showing value, doors to the correct people will be opened. Yeah? So there is a quid pro quo job here. Certainly, it's difficult to find the right person in many situations, but having identified who it is, then there are tools that you can use to go forward and get them. One of the key tools that we use is a concept called the value chain. And the value chain has an ultimate goal of a return on investment analysis. And the return on investment analysis is a way of showing business people how moving in your direction will make them money or save them money. If the money that we're speaking about is convincing and compelling, you can speak to anybody who you need to speak, as long as they're interested in the money that you're going to get for them or save for them. Okay? Difficult to understand topics too high or too low. So on a too high level, this is the principle of just not having the knowledge to understand business topics at a very complex level. At a too low level, we've heard time and time again that the IT demand manager will go into meetings where they will say, so tell me about your business strategies and plans, and their internal customer says, yes, okay, but before we begin, can you fix my printer? Yeah, or can you help me with this particular piece? So, and this is sometimes a little bit frustrating for the demand management role. Yeah. However, at the end of the day, in the customer's perception, what are you? Are you business or IT? Yeah. And the reality is that it will take time for the business to perceive the IT demand management as a business equal. And until that time, they will say to themselves, they're IT. They know more than IT than I do. So therefore, they should be able to answer these IT questions as well. And it's also very possible that they will see you as an access into this IT knowledge that they personally don't have. So at the end of the day, we use it for what it is there. I did hear a very interesting story about a CIO of one particular country organization who went to the CEO of the same country organization and said, so Jack, time to sit down and tell me from your perspective as the boss of this organization, what are your key goals and objectives for the next 5 years? And Jack, the CEO, the boss of 500 people, said, okay, can you just help me with this app? I've got a new phone. And the CIO said, always the same thing with you. Give me that. And so he played around for half an hour trying to fix a Samsung problem. Yeah, gave the phone back and he says, so happy now? The CEO said, yeah, thanks very much. He said, so what's your strategy and plan? And the CEO says, do we have to do this now? Yes, I just fixed your telephone. We have to do this now. So the challenge doesn't stop the higher you go. In fact, it probably increases to a certain extent as well.